Okay, everyone, now we're going to do some mixed factoring. We're going to put it all together, and it could be any kind of factoring available to us. And when we're doing factoring, the first thing we have to consider is, do we have a GDC or not? If we have a GDC, use it. Help us out. If not, then we have to do that too. Then the next thing we always consider is there a common factor? You must consider common factors first. It makes life easy if you pull them out. If there's a common factor, you take it out, and then you're going to be left with something that's done factoring. Maybe A is 1, maybe A is not 1, and you'll have 3 different options available to you. If it's not factorable, then you're done. If it's these scenarios, you still do the X, or the cross rather, and do the techniques that we've learned. If there is no common factor, then we have the same idea. We have our techniques that we've learned, or maybe it's done factoring. Maybe there's nothing else to do. So let's go to our examples and give them a try here. Here's the first one. There's no calculator for us, and so I know here A is equal to 1 here. So I'm going to make my X. It's X squared times 8 is 8X squared. Adds to get 6X. Multiply 2 numbers that multiply to get 8x squared and add to get 6. Well, the first ones I think of as 4x and 2x. I make my box. This is x squared and 8 and 4x and 2x. Factor them out, I get 2, I get x, x, and 4. And hopefully you're getting faster and faster at doing this so that the factoring does not take very long. And one of the shortcuts you can realize is this 2 and this 4, because it's a 1 here, are exactly the 4 and the 2 that go in there. And so you might start to be able to just bypass this altogether and just ask yourself what multiplies to get 8, adds to get 6, and just go 4 and 2. End of story. Look at the next one. Here we have 16a squared minus 9, and doesn't say I can't use my calculator, so I am going to use my calculator to do this. I'm going to graph it. I've already put it in. I graph it, and here are my x-intercepts. Well, that looks to be about 1, so I'm going to do this one on the right first. I'm going to go second, calculate, intersect number 5. Oh, sorry. I want 0, which is number 2. My left bound is 0. My right bound, I'll make it 2. And I'm going to guess it's 1. And I get 0.75. So x minus 0.75. Let's look at the other one. I'm going to do the 0. Again, my left bound, I'm going to make negative 2. Right bound 0. I'm going to guess at negative 1. And this one is x is negative 0.75, so change the sign when I factor. Now I can't leave it as this. I have to make these integers. So if I convert that to a fraction, I know it's 3/4. I know this is also 3/4, but if you weren't sure, one of the things you could do, I know x is there. If I hit x now, it's 0.75 negative. And if I go math, I can convert it to a fraction, and it'll give me a fraction if it's harder than 0.75. This one here, I am going to multiply by 4, and this one also multiply by 4. And when I do that, I get 4x minus 3 and 4x plus 3. And one thing I want to make notice of is there are only 2 terms here. And so it's 16a squared plus 0a minus 9. And when I have the 0 there, subtracted number, this is often true. And maybe you might want to think about how you go straight from here to that in one step. And you may have heard this thing called a difference of squares. And that's a shortcut you can potentially do. Next example, no GDC this time. First thing we always have to do is look for common factors. Common factors are always the first thing. If I look at that, I know I have a 3 and a b cubed. So I have 3b squared. When I do that, I have an a squared. And here, if I take a b squared, I get a minus 4b. And this one does not. It is finished. There's nothing else I can do here. Done. All right, first thing, look for common factors. There are none. So I make my cross, multiply to get negative 6t squared, 5t, adding to get multiply to get negative 6, add to get 5. Well, I know a positive 6t times a negative t would add up to 5 and multiply to get negative this. I'm making the box quickly, and I get 3t squared, negative 2, 6t, and negative t. If I factor away, I have t, 3, 3t, and negative 1. And so to factor this, I have t plus 3 from here, and 3t minus 1. This, oh, I goofed. If I look here, 3 is not my factor. It rather is 2, which makes this is 2. The reason why I caught that is I started to check in my head that these two numbers multiply to get negative 2, and I wasn't the case when that was 3. This one here, doing this one, first thing I always do is I'm going to look for a common factor, and there is indeed a common factor, x squared plus 9x plus 20. And if I think about it, what two numbers I could have the 20x squared and the 9x, but what two numbers multiply to get 20, add to get 9? Well, that's going to be plus 5 and plus 4. And if I look here, it's the 5x and the 4x making the box. When I have an a value of 1, I can do this shortcut here. And so this was the x squared, this was the 20, 4x and the 5x. Pulling everything out, common factor, common factor, common factor, common factor, and indeed, this is that one, this is that one. And so I get my factor. And that is where we ended. First thing, consider GDC, then common factor, and then oftentimes you do the cross to figure out your values and put it into the box and figure out your factors that way. Good luck.